So now let us address this question. Why was the Rajya Sabha being incorporated, or what would be the logic behind the incorporation of bicameral system? Right? Okay. So why was the Rajya Sabha being incorporated? Okay. So why was Rajya Sabha incorporated, or what was the logic behind it? Or what would have been the logic behind this? Now, let's say for instance, there are two parties, right? The ruling party and the opposition party, or the party in opposition. So the ruling party, as I'll call it as party A, and the opposition party as party B. Now, the condition is that in Lok Sabha, obviously, that party A is in majority, whereas in Rajya Sabha, it need not be the same. So let us assume that B is in majority. Okay, so let us now assume a scenario, right? Let us assume a scenario wherein a bill is being introduced in such a way that it was introduced due to the political pressure which was shown by the people, which was actually a opinion of people, and the government had no other way other than to pass this bill. Though this was controversial scenario wherein under political pressure from people, under political pressure from people, or to be more precise, from the voters, the Lok Sabha had to pass a controversial bill. That will be more precise, a controversial bill. Now, if this bill is enacted, or let us say the situation arose due to the political pressure from voters. Why did the voters give this political pressure? Because such a situation arose due to a sudden emotional reaction, to an incident. Let it be an incident. Okay, let us also take that the incident was in, let us say, January. Okay. Now, if, right, so in this condition, if, let us analyze the significance of Rajya Sabha. If only Lok Sabha is present, right, if only Lok Sabha is present, and if both Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha is present, okay. So if only Lok Sabha is present, then the point here is that the only power they derived is basically from the vote of the voters, which means they will have to satisfy the voters, and that such a bill has to be passed. The bill will become an act, the controversial bill will become an act, and this may induce negative effects in the society. Now, can it be checked? Yes, it can be checked, but it can be checked only by the judiciary, which may take a long time. Now, on the other hand, if there is the presence of Rajya Sabha, right? So, what Rajya Sabha will do is, Rajya Sabha here will question the passage of bill. It will question the passage of bill, and as such, the passage of bill will be questioned such that it takes so long for the discussion to happen, right? It takes so long for the discussion to happen. Now, since it is taking so long for the discussion to happen, what is the advantage? See, we are talking about a sudden emotional reaction. Now, when it takes, let us say, 6 to 8 months for the discussion, do you think that the sudden emotional reaction of the public opinion will be there? No, which means the public emotion the public emotion will cool down. The public emotion will cool down. And in such a scenario, the constitution bill can be negotiated. The constitution bill can be negotiated. So the bill here can be negotiated by the parliament. Also to be noted is the concept of also to notice the concept of bargaining federalism. Noted is the concept of bargaining federalism. Now, what is this bargaining federalism? Suppose that party A is in majority at the center, whereas party B is the opposition, but party B is in majority in state B. Let us say some other party, right? Party C is in majority in state B. So if A has to implement or has to convert bill to an act, it needs the support of B, whereas B may not support. But if they get the support of C, if they get the support of C, if they get the support of C, now what can happen here is if they get support of C, they may pass this bill into an act, and as a result of which, knowing this very clearly, what will party C say? Party C will say, if you give special benefits to our states, we shall pass this bill. If you give special benefits to our state, we shall support this bill. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about bargaining federalism. Why is this bargaining? Very simple. Because now the center A is depending upon the state C, and it is fundamentally what we call as federalism. Thus, the Rajya Sabha is relevant based on two different concepts. One, it can act as a regulator of passing bill. Second, can introduce the concept of bargaining federalism.